Thank you so much, Carey, for joining the We Don't Play podcast show today. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. Thank you for having me. How are
Oh,
you?
I'm great, thank you. It's always amazing speaking with you and being on a show. Finally, we're on the podcast, and a lot of people are going to love your story, love what you're going to tell them, because I think everybody in the world needs at least one of your products in action. So I'm excited for them to learn more about you and what you do and just give people that information that they need, especially because people don't really know what they're buying these days. They just buy based on advertisement and branding.
Yes. Or just convenience.
True, true. Okay, so let's kick it off. I wanted to kick it off first of all by asking, what is Clean in Vogue? How did this start? How, like, where did this root from?
Well, it actually happened very organically through a problem that I had myself during the pandemic. And I was using an all purpose cleaner um, that was, it smelled nice, it worked well. It was easily, normally before the pandemic, accessible. And I found it just to kind of make me feel a little better when I was just cleaning up crumbs or just kind of the basic everyday stuff. I am by far a clean freak, but I do like to keep my surfaces free of dirt or stuff that shouldn't be on there. No big deal, just takes like 5 seconds, right? So I was running around town trying to find a refill for this, and the stores were partly closed, but I was going online and searching for it. And this company, I won't say what name they are, but they advertise themselves as all natural. So I thought I was using a product that had no chemicals in it. I thought that I was using a product that was good for the environment and safe for my home. And honestly, I'm in middle age and I have grown children. And growing up, I never really thought too much about how chemicals could be harmful for myself or my family. Now, I do try not to breathe it in, or like when I'm pumping gas, I purposely kind of turn my head. So I'm conscious of it, but I wasn't going out of my way to buy all natural cleaning products for my home. I've on and off, I've had cleaning ladies throughout my life. Never really thought about what products they were using either. I've had pets and young children around, but I started to become more aware because there's more information now out in the media and just in the general mainstream that you don't need to have harsh chemicals in order to clean your home. And so like I said, I was running around town and someone even said, go on PetSmart, like go on PetSmart.com, and even PetSmart was out of it. So I was like, darn it, how can I come up with my own natural product without spending half of the day like pouring things into bottles and wondering if it's going to work well enough. I like to eat vinegar, but I don't really like to smell it. It works great. Some people don't mind using that in their home, and it is effective, but it wasn't really pleasant for me to use. The other thing is the bottles tend to be ugly. And so when they say that stress, I'm a psychology major, my college education, and they say that little stressors in life that you have create more stress than sometimes large stressors, because you kind of consciously think about the large stressors yourself to kind of help you cope with them. Whereas when you have itty bitty stressors throughout the day, it adds up and then you're not really coping with it. You're just feeling icky. So to me, even though it sounds like a little thing, like these ugly plastic, large industrial like bottles that you pull out and use, and then you might have someone stop by, or you might be entertaining or something, and you want to put it away because it's not attractive to be in your home with an aesthetic. So I was kind of wanting all those things, and I just thought, well, maybe I can make my own company and have my own product and just help a few people. Maybe my my younger daughter can be involved. She's like just, finishing up graduate school. And I really thought it was just going to be a little thing that she and I did that I was solving my own problem. But what I learned is any company you have, unless it's like an MLM, it really becomes this large endeavor. And I started becoming more and more passionate about it. The products work amazing, and I found a really good designer to brand, to kind of give off the message and the feeling that I wanted people to have when they actually held the bottles. So that's how the company came about. Sorry, it's such a long explanation.
No, that's perfect. Thank you for bringing that up, because a lot of people, I'm sure, are thinking when they go to the store to buy cleaning supplies, they always think about how is this going to be effective and how is it going to be safe, because they are chemicals. And when people inhale those chemicals, it kind of messes up with their system. So even the way it looks as well, because people buy things based on the way it looks. So for people to just buy it because they need it and not thinking about how it looks, but now considering how it looks and how it feels, on your table or somewhere in the pantry, it kind of adds to the styling of your home. When people buy products, they kind of think about the home decor aspect. Is that what you thought about too when you were designing the bottle?
Yes, that, and because I just wanted to instill, this is the biggest kind of central pillar of Clean in Vogue, is that I want to instill a confidence and a safe, good feeling that you have in those small moments in your day or week where you are cleaning a surface, whether it's a table or a cabinet that's splattered, or your granite or tile inside your kitchen where crumbs get over, whatever it is, that little moment that you have that you feel better about it. So the bottles are glass, so they're reusable. Instead of plastic when it empties, great if you're using plastic and you refill it, but it's still a big piece of plastic that like the big box stores sell that have chemicals in them as well. And so the glass portion of it is a big aspect of it, because it's cutting down, it's like doing your little part in the world to use less plastic. Because if you think about over the lifespan of buying all that cleaning products that you go through maybe at different rates, people say, how long does it last? Well, it depends how much you clean and what you clean. So, that's one. And then the other thing is I wanted it to have like a feeling of sort of empowerment or confidence, because from my journey, and I've learned that a lot of people feel this way, is that you feel a little bit insecure or overwhelmed. It's these kind of negative feelings that are associated with cleaning. Like nobody wakes up in the morning and goes, I cannot wait to clean my house today.
Right.
Right? So I recognize that this is not about like being obsessed with cleaning to the point where like I would think that you would wake up feeling that way. No, what I want to do is help people feel a little better about it. Doing their part in the world to cut down on plastic, and they're using an all-natural product that does not harm themselves nor the environment. Including, I have these toilet bombs that are, like bath bombs that you put in your bath water and they fizz. Mm-hmm. We have the same type of thing. It's a round, I don't have one sitting right here, but it's a round ball that's all natural. We hand make them. And you put it in the toilet and it fizzes, it smells nice, it emits like essential oil, and then it dissolves and it cleans. So it goes down into, if you really think about it, which I know a lot of people do now, is like, what can I do to help save the animals or save our ocean, or us with microplastics, with all the plastics going into the ocean, there's teensy tiny little pieces of plastic that then are going into our fish and we're eating it, and it goes into our bodies, and over time it adds up. And so fine, our bodies can handle it for a number of years, but then these autoimmune diseases come about and other problems. So if you can feel good about not being a part of that, that's another passion that we have.
Wow. I love the fact that you're touching on everything in the house that pertains to cleanliness, and also giving that style and feeling that, okay, I want to wake up and smell the good, scent, because when you smell, when you imagine, think about cleaning a house, right? And when you clean a house, the smell of the chemicals kind of fill up the room, but with your products, it kind of gives a completely different experience. So the aura is even different. When people come home, they're like, oh, what is that smell? You think you sprayed something, but it was actually the cleaning product. So it also gives that feel and that vibe that, okay, I want to enjoy being clean. I want to enjoy being here. And that's what your product is bringing to the world. And I love that I've been able to also participate and experience that for myself firsthand. So I think everybody should definitely take a chance to see that. Now, when I'm thinking about, since you started till now, what are the things that you have learned in marketing, especially when it comes to cleaning products and what people are used to buying?
Well, in all transparency, I'm still learning. But I'm a learner, continual learner is how I have always been. But the things that I have learned, I guess the three big ones are, one, consistency. It takes some discipline to be consistent over time, but they say that people that are trying people that will discover you need to have multiple touch points before they really might take notice, or before they will trust and like you. And unless you're consistent and showing up every day, or as often as you can be, depending on the size of your team, I think that's huge. The other thing is, and this has come about in the last few years, is the authenticity and trying to really be yourself while sharing your brand and the messaging of your brand. So I try to share myself as much as I can, and involve people in my life as it relates to the products, even if it's like a dotted line. So I do like a lot of DIY projects in my home or organization, because cleaning kind of comes with organization and purging and things like that. And so it sometimes it's like I get involved in something in my home or a client's home, and then I think, oh, I should share this with my audience because it's something they might learn from or something they might enjoy. The third thing is progress, not perfection. So I think a lot of people, including myself, and I've gotten better and better at this as I've become more conscious of it, when I create a piece of content, I ask myself, is this good enough? Because the tendency is to create it so it's so good that it's perfect or almost perfect. And it kind of goes along with the authenticity part, because people don't want to see perfect anymore. Like, they're kind of like rolling their eyes sometimes at the perfectly curated stuff on Instagram. And I think that's part of why I've been able to do well on TikTok, is because the audiences there are more like, it's a very community feeling, and it's a very enriched, sharing community that is, you feel like people are really being themselves and not trying to be like scripted. So I think those are the big three. If I were to say something else, it's what I'm learning from you, Favor, and that's ranking on Google and having my website convert, and everything that goes around with building an email list. So as much as I knew the importance of building an email list for the last 3-4 years, I just didn't know where to start. And I finally came convinced that the email list remains the number one way to convert customers into your community and into your audience and into using your products. And a lot of people don't know that. A lot of business owners don't know that. And I knew it, but I didn't know how to go about it. And I didn't have the right technology bones or skeleton to make that happen. And I was trying to piece it all together myself and I had the wrong parts of a team to help me do that. And so when I found you, I've finally been able to make progress in building my email list and audience. And I recognize that I am very much responsible for that as well. So we're a total team where I don't just say, okay, Favor, you do it all. I've got to also do my part to provide pieces of content information that will help us make that grow as fast as possible.
100%. I also see that growth too, because there is growth in learning and also growth in experience. And part of the experience that I've seen with you too is how people are perceiving the products and how they're responding back. Because when people are about to buy a product, they have to read and see what it did for them before they want to know what it does for me. So when you look at all those moving parts and then it becomes really clear that, okay, this is what I need to use for this specific problem I'm trying to solve, then it changes the whole paradigm shift on what I'm used to buying as opposed to what I need to buy. So that's one of the things I've also come to see, and I'm glad that we're on this journey, especially in the new year, trying to make sure that everybody sees this and grows and understands the value of keeping your home clean. Because even for some people who maybe have, children, toddlers, kids, and they're using those wipes or using those chemicals, they don't know the effect that it's causing on their kids. So could you touch on that a little bit more before we go into the face-to-face events?
Sure. Even in the car, like I use the all-purpose degreaser. I have 4 products. One is all-purpose degreaser, which in the name in and of itself can be used on multiple different things. It's not going to hurt anything. And some people like to have specific products for specific things, including myself. So the 3 others are wood and floor, which I have a lot of raving customers over the wood and floor because you can also use it on your cabinets, your kitchen or bathroom cabinets, and your wood furniture. So I have a Restoration Hardware 60-inch round kitchen dinette table that is wood on the top, and it's beautiful, and I'm blessed to be able to have it. And I feel so good about preserving this wood by using something that doesn't create a film or have chemicals that might seep into the wood. I want to be able to pass this down to my family, my kids, when, as they get older and have their own families. And it just makes the wood shine. I had another customer say that when she, for the first time, used the wood and floor on a piece of furniture, she had a what do you call it? Not a crate, but it's a big thing that opens up at the top, a trunk that her father gave her, passed down, or her grandfather. And she had it sitting in her living room for years. And she said when she put the wood and floor cleaner on it and, basically just took a microfiber towel and went around it, she said it shined like I have never seen. It's like the wood came alive.
Wow.
So that's the wood product. You can also use it, of course, on wood floors, and it creates this really nice soft scent for people that have allergies or sensitivities. This is such a gentle scent that you'll walk in after you do your wood floors, but it won't be like overpowering, like no chemical smell, of course. The third product is a granite and tile, and it can be used on any tile surface. It can be used in kitchen and the bathroom, and especially your shower. It works great at getting off. If you have super, super heavy mold, I wouldn't say that, but if you just have that monthly kind of clean or every other week, it does a fantastic job. I would say for the mold, you could put the all-purpose degreaser and let it sit on there and then wipe it off. Use a friction on there, but it works really well. And the last one is the glass cleaner. And the thing I love about the glass cleaner, two things. It leaves no streaks. So I hear people with a lot of glass cleaners, they say, I've never been able to clean my mirrors without struggling with the streaks. Or if you have glass in your shower, you know, it gets streaky and it just kind of like whatever, and you leave and it just stays streaky. This, no streaks. And the second thing I love about the glass cleaner is it works phenomenal on stainless steel. So if you have stainless steel appliances like a toaster or an Instapot, or you have a stainless steel refrigerator, your oven surface, your microwave, it works amazing on all that. So basically these 4 products take care of everything in your home, really. I use the all-purpose degreaser in the car. I use it like on the inside of windowsills once a year when I do my spring cleaning. And the little refills, it's basically a concentrate that's this size. It's a 2-ounce vial. Well, actually, this is a 2-ounce vial. And you pour half of it into the bottle, and then you add water. And that's it. And so this little vial of refill fills this big bottle of 16 ounces twice. And this is only $3. So you spend a little money up front purchasing the bottles, but then you save over time significantly by, you know, just having to order the concentrate refills.
Wow. Okay. I think that is something a lot of people need to think about when it comes to cleaning, because literally all your products can take care of a house, a home, a car, anything that is within the home, just to make sure that you have that all natural feel, and it's also safe and also convenient for people that are coming in. Even guests, when you have guests, you know, you don't want them to leave having that chemical smell, because you don't know what, you know, could, you know, trigger anything that may, you know, take them somewhere that they don't want to go. So that's a really, really good option, and I'm glad that you mentioned it. And for those who are thinking about where these products are or where to find them, it's in the description, and you can click on any of those links and it will take you directly to those products so you can purchase and check out. And make sure you also let Carey know that you bought it, because leaving a review and letting her know that you've been able to use it on these things can also allow her to give examples like you just did with the wood and floor cleaner. So thank you so much for that. You know, I was thinking about the face-to-face events that you mentioned about, and growing subscribers. You know, I talked about it a little bit, and I know this is something we've been trying to do together. Tell me more about your experience on how face-to-face events have helped people see it, because you know, people say seeing is believing, and then when you see them doing it, sometimes when you watch it on a video, like, okay, that could be some CGI, but when you see it in real life and it's actually changing the surface, it completely changes your mindset. Could you tell us a little bit more about how face-to-face events have impacted the business, whole just fully around, you know, the brand?
Great question. I love this, because I'm just now really with you, Faber, getting going on this, because a goal that I've wanted to have for like the last year is to create a local community of people with similar challenges, but yet similar passions around DIY or decorating for the holidays. Every holiday will swap out my decor in my home, and I have friends that say they love to stop by because they get to see the different kind of experiences, I guess, that I offer in my home. And whether I lived in a little townhouse when my son was playing football because we had to move, or I live in a home with more space, I still go out of my way to create these experiences. So with that goal to grow a local community of people that are sharing in the product, and also want to have people to get together with to maybe get ready for the holidays and kind of be inspired, or get ideas from each other. I'm holding events around that on maybe a quarterly basis. I'm getting ready to do one around the Valentine's holiday. And I love that I learned this in corporate. I come from many, many years in corporate technology, and we would have events where we'd have speakers come in. We'd invite prospects and clients to come to a venue. And we found that even if we interacted with them in face-to-face before, when we spent that time together, just a couple hours in our free time, it was usually like after hours or on a weekend, for a couple hours or something, it just created this extra bond. And then people would meet people that, I knew both of them, but they didn't know each other. And so it just creates this kind of support amongst each other with a common interest. And then bring your friends, bring your sister, bring, your neighbor. And I just want to grow so that in my community, people will know that, this brand is here to serve them and inspire them and make them feel like they're not alone. If you're a nurse or you're a teacher and whatever career you have, and if you walk in your home at 6 o'clock at night and you look around and you feel like, oh my God, I can't even relax because my house is disheveled, or I haven't had time to do laundry, or I have all these papers that I need to file, and I want people to know that they're not alone in that, and that can really create a mental health aloneness, and especially women, I think, feel like we have to have that all under control. We have to, be that role in our homes. And I've been there where I have really been so overwhelmed, especially with young children when my kids were younger. And I would compare myself to women that had more resources than I. They had nannies and they had more income, and to hire, maybe cleaning ladies to come in once a week. And that's all awesome. But at that time, I didn't have that. And I would then look at my house and I would compare myself to them. And that's just not fair to myself. I learned how to change that self-talk and say to myself, you can do a little bit today and that's fine. And you're doing everything you can. And I had to change the self-talk in my mind to help me feel like I was my own friend.
That is so beautiful that you've mentioned it, because one of the things that stood out to me was serving, serving your audience, serving your community. What would you say, that just to add on to what you've said, as far as the importance of serving your audience, your community, your family, your friends, the people who are around you, and also educating them on the hazards that may unknowingly be hurting them because they don't know where to turn to or who to turn to when it comes to this type of information. How is it important for Clean in Vogue to really relay this information to serve your audience in a very passionate way?
That is such a great question. It's so funny you asked that, because this morning I was on the treadmill, starting my year off right.
Okay.
And I was listening to this podcast on marketing, and they said something that I heard from this Facebook advertising guru that I used to work with years ago when I had an agency. And he said, when you walk into a room at a party and there's, let's say you're a man and there's a woman across the room and you think she's beautiful, you don't just walk across and say, hey, you want to marry me? You have to ask, what's your name? And start a conversation. And it's the same way in marketing. And in this podcast this morning, I heard, and it really made me think, oh my gosh, I need to do this, is to be relatable and to solve, like you said earlier, Favor, to solve someone's problem that they have in mind. In content, I need to show it more. My backyard, I don't know if you can see the trees behind me, but I have a lot of nature in the back. I saw a gray wolf this morning. I was like, oh my gosh. But I want to go back there, and because I'm very in touch with nature and I valued wildlife, and this is part of what Clean and Vogue does, is helps protect the environment. The chemicals that are coming out of the water from my home are going into this space that where nature is, and I can feel like I am not damaging that. And so what I was thinking of doing, I haven't even shared this with you till just now, but is going out there with my camera and sharing that with me. This is, and getting that message across with relatability. And if someone is feeling that themselves, then they'll be able to connect. Yeah, that's how I feel too. And I didn't know. I've never really thought about it before, or I've heard about it, but I really haven't spent any time in solving this problem that I have. It's just easier for me to go into the big box stores and pick up something off the shelf and just use it because I know it works, and I hate cleaning, but I gotta do it, so there it is. So I feel like I want to become better at serving audiences in the community in the United States, really, just because that's who we are serving today is the United States, but I want to have a global reach eventually. But also through that emotional support of helping people know that they're not alone in the overwhelm, in the self-judgment, and just in making it easy. Like we go out of our way to get orders out quickly, to they can buy the whole kit where they have all 4 products, or they can buy just individual to try it out. Now we have a trial size. It's half the size as the regular bottle, so it's just an 8-ouncer. You can buy it at a lower price point, try it out, see for yourself, because once people start using it and feeling the value firsthand, then they start getting excited and they start going, oh my gosh, this is so much better.
Wow. I'm loving the simplicity of how you brought it to life, where when you serve the community with the intention of helping and seeing them also, passing it on to their loved ones and to their family and their friends, it creates this synergy, because now everybody is on the same page. Everybody wants to feel loved. Everybody wants to feel like there's some type of connection, especially when people like a clean home. Nobody likes a dirty home. People want to be in a clean environment so they can breathe well, they can eat, they can feel good, and when they leave the house they want to come right back home because they know the feeling of being in a clean environment. So it's really great that you brought that up, and I really hope that people can also take the trial size kit and see for themselves, and then maybe test it on their windows, test it in their car, test it somewhere where they don't have to do too much, but see the effect of what it brings, and then maybe dedicate more to that. I wanted to bring this up as well because as you mentioned this, it also came to mind. There's this model that you've created because we're working together, which is based on subscriptions. A lot of businesses or cleaning products, you just pick it off the shelf and you go home. But I don't hear a lot about subscriptions with cleaning products. Could you touch on that just a little bit so that people know how it works? And if that's something they're interested in, that could be something that could also help with your business and also help with their, ease of flexibility.
Yes, I'm so glad you brought that up. So my thinking with the subscriptions was ease of not having to worry about it. One less thing that you have to put on your list. And some people go through certain products faster than others. I have my hairdresser is really passionate about keeping her wood floors clean, and she does her wood floors like multiple times a week. She's a mom of 2 or 3, and she has a home and a full-time job and a husband, and she has her kids take off their shoes when they come in and stuff, and so she goes through the wood floor concentrates like crazy. Me, I'm in the kitchen all the time. I'm a home cook. I value homemade things for my health and no chemicals in my food, hopefully, and I go through the tile and glass. So the subscriptions are available where you can choose precisely which product or products concentrate. So these little vials of concentrate that you pour in the bottom of the glass bottle and then fill with water arrive to your home on a periodic basis that you also choose. So you can choose once a month, once every 2 months. I think then we have one for once every 3 months. And then it can be paused by request. So I have a customer that recently went up to New York for 2 months from Georgia, and she took a trial size bottle up with her to her home up there. And she said, can you stop the subscription from coming to my home in Georgia for a couple months until I get back? And we're like, no problem. So that's the concept. Now, some people don't like subscriptions because they're like, I get into it, I pay for it, and then I forget about it. And I keep getting products coming to my home that I'm not necessarily using. So you can just turn it off, or you don't have to have a subscription at all. So it really is a total personal preference. I think very organized people that are more frequently cleaning, that like to simplify their shopping, would be served well with the subscription.
Thank you for that. That is definitely convenient for them, and that also improves the experience of what they're looking for, because if they subscribe to it today, they can order the wooden floor. Tomorrow they could do the all-purpose degreaser. The next day they could do the glass cleaner, glass and tile cleaner. So it really makes it easy for them to be flexible with their cleaning, because sometimes people clean once a month or once a quarter, and that is very good for them to know, so that if they're ever thinking about that, they know who to come to and who to buy from. So that was very insightful. Thank you for that. Lastly, I wanted to talk about like how we're working, and how I've been able to help you out with this new growth phase, especially looking at the previous year and this new year. What have you been seeing, and what is your belief and plan for this new year, especially for the people who are going to find you for the first time?
It's been super refreshing and exciting for me to have found you. I found Favor on Clubhouse and connected, and we had a call, and I had a goal last January to grow my email list from 0 to, I wanted to get the first 100 and then get to 500. And by September, I had none. And so I really had to reassess my team. And when I met with you, Favor, I felt like your the specificity, is that the word? Mm-hmm. The concentration of your knowledge in the space of email list growing and being found on Google was specialized, while at the same time you also understood lead magnets and the technology that backs the automation of that process. And you immediately start taking action on the holes that were gaping in my website, in my presence on Google, and we immediately made a plan that was understandable to me, so I could do my part to create a lead magnet. And I had enough familiarity with the CRM, is that what Flowdesk is called? The CRM?
Yeah.
To be able to connect the dots of the drip campaign of what was going to go out and the process, so I had confidence in it. But you really had the power to make it all work. And so it was like I like how you involved me, but I wasn't getting all of the detail to the point where I was feeling overwhelmed, because that's what I hired you for, to help me with all that and to do all that while I, as a business owner, had enough of the information where I could participate in us being a team to make it work.
Yeah, I'm glad that we did meet And we are still working and building this, because now when we look at your email list and look at the people that have joined, having a pop-up on your website also shows that there is value and there's something happening behind the closed doors, because there are people who need to be communicated with. It also shows a sense of community, which is also your main focus. So bringing that into TikTok, bringing that onto your website, and then in person, it literally brings the brand alive. It brings the brand to life, and I'm glad that we've been able to do that. And I'm so excited to know and see where it takes us by the end of this year, God willing.
Yes, and then you're always like a couple steps ahead of me in a good way, where when we meet, it's usually on a weekly basis. I don't know if that's how every client of yours is, but that helps me, because then I walk away from that meeting with you with a list of my own, so I stay on track of the content that I'm to be creating, or what I need to get to you. And you think of things that, like with Trustpilot, I didn't know what that was, and you're like, that's what helps make your website known to be verified.
Yeah.
Is that the word?
Incredible.
And here I've been sitting with a website for 2 years, and Google doesn't know it's verified. So I wouldn't have known. There's just no way a CEO can keep up with all of the intricacies of every aspect of the business. And so that's what I'm very thankful to have you for, that with those discoveries that you help me understand, then I can confidently feel like it's moving my business forward in a way that the investment is very much worthy, so that I can reach more people. But people go, if they want to change a cleaning product, or they might go to Google and be like, I heard from my friend she's using an all natural product, because I like where my brand is in the I always think of it as a roller coaster of like where trends are going and where awareness is. Like 10, 15 years ago, people weren't really thinking about all natural cleaning products. Well, I have several competitors that are doing extremely well, but they're really focused on like plastic free all the way. Your whole life has to be plastic free. Do not use plastic bags. Do not use, cardboard. Like, it's just like over the top. And I feel that way, but I don't think it's always practical for people to be 100% plastic free, but you can do your part. If you are your part in plastic free in your cleaning products, just think about how one household can cut down, and that can make you feel really good. So I feel like this industry that I'm in is sort of at the bottom, like here's the top of the roller coaster, and we're right here because there's enough awareness that this is an option, this works great, and you can be a part of helping, cut down on waste. So it's exciting to me, and I'm glad that there are competitors because there's plenty to go around. I really think of life in abundance, and the people that I'm serving in a different way than my competitors, because I'm really addressing the emotional part of the support to the feelings that go into the negativity of cleaning.
Oh yeah, that is true. And you're bringing like a fresh new perspective on how cleaning should be perceived, as opposed to a chore or a task or a duty that you have to do. If not, you won't get your house clean. So I love the fact that even in your brand name, it's called Clean in Vogue. It's the word clean is there and it's very visible. So if someone hears it, they're like, yeah, that's what they stand for. And that's how they sustain their business. So I love the fact that you brought that all into that brand name as well.
Yeah, my thinking with that was that it's addressing a person that wants or is taking pride in themselves in their home, and also becoming it reinforcing a lifestyle of care and a lifestyle of quality. And that, when I think of Vogue, I think of fashion and I think of quality, and I also feel inspired in some way that is exciting. Like when you see, if you open up a Vogue magazine and you see the clothes in there, it's like, it might not be something that I put on, but I'm like, wow, look at that, you know? So that's kind of what the feeling I wanted to emulate in the brand, and the whole quality aspect and feeling good about it being brought into your life as part of your lifestyle.
100%. This has been a very informative and high level, episode. And I think a lot of people are going to definitely favorite this and think about what they're doing when they're going to the store, when they're, creating their list of things to buy. They'll be thinking about what you've said, because now it's going to help them make more informed decisions about what they need to make sure that their safe home is well kept and also well secured. So I really appreciate you, Carey, for being here and for being part of the conversation that we've had today.
Thank you, Favor. It's my pleasure, and I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anytime. I'm sure some people want to now figure out how can they get in contact with you, how can they be able to connect with you, and where can they find you? What are the options you have available for them?
I'm Clean in Vogue everywhere, so Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. It's CLEANIN Vogue, VOGUE. And my website is cleaninvogue.com. And currently, I'm not sure when this episode will be dropped, but there is a number at the top of the website homepage that can be texted with any questions or communication. And our email is support@cleaninvogue.com.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Carey. I'm sure they're going to tap in and definitely look forward to reaching out to you and learning more about your business, and also participating, patronizing, and definitely using it for their home and telling their friends and loved ones about it, so that when it's in the home, they see it, they're like, oh, what is that? They tell them, they go to the site, and then the word just spreads like a wildfire. So I'm excited to see this happen and manifest in the new year.
Me too. All of our packaging is eco-friendly, biodegradable. Even the packaging tape is biodegradable, so you can feel good about that too.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Favor.
Yeah, you're welcome, Carey. And I'm definitely looking forward to bringing you back again very soon on the We Don't Play podcast show.
I'd love to. Thank you. Take care, everyone.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.